This is Frakas Mo'Fire, and I'm broadcasting live from Nigeria. And I want to welcome you to a new episode of the program, Our Survival, Our Rights. On We4We TV here, we're going to be discussing a range of issues. We're going to talk about the recent broadcast by the President of Nigeria, and we're going to talk about the situation with the youths in Lagos and the hoodlums and all the unrest that's going on around different states in Nigeria. And we're going to be talking about the situation in Imo State, and we're going to be talking about groups and individuals who have been doing their best for the communities, how far they've gone, what's been going on. And we're going to share a little bit and hopefully we're going to share some of the experiences we've had in the street, because we've been going around the street talking to different people and see how this lockdown has affected indeed the average man. And we're going to show you, we're going to talk about things that the other media houses don't talk about, because most of the times they're playing politics, and we're not here to play politics. We keep it straight, rough, rugged, and raw. That's how we come. Welcome again to the program, Our Survival, Our Rights. Anyway, so the President of Nigeria had a broadcast, and he talked about giving additional 1 million persons the cash transfer that they gave before. And a lot of people got confused, because the last time they said they gave 2.5 million people 20,000 naira. And then a lot of people are confused as to who had received this. We've been out there asking different people in different states, and it's been very difficult to come across anybody that's received this money, especially in the Southeast. So the Office of Humanitarian Affairs and their minister, they were forced to finally bring out the list. I'll present the list to the public to see who's been getting paid and how and where. So now the big problem is, how did they put together this list? What states? And a lot of people are complaining that most of the states are up north. And then if they're up north, being that Nigeria does not necessarily have, like in America, they have social security numbers, and they have tax, income tax filing, and a lot of different data and parameters that can be put together to verify people's income and find out who's below poverty guidelines and who's not. And those other parameters kind of make sure that there's equity in that in any kind of procurement of any list. So Nigeria doesn't have those parameters set up already. So people are wondering, how was this list put together, especially now that it's been shown to be disproportionately favoring people in the northern part of Nigeria. Anambra State seems to be the only southeast state on that list, and they said they identified about 3,000 households or 1,300 households in Anambra that's struggling. And then we went to Anambra, we asked a lot of people, nobody had received that money. So we're wondering, are people playing politics still with this list? Are people going around, people that work for the ministry or other politicians, putting up fake and ghost names up on this list so they can further enrich their pocket the same way they've been doing all along? Well, it's our turn to now put it up to the government that enough is enough. We're not gonna stand by and still watch them loot and loot over again. It's time for us to grab the bull by the horn and let them know enough is enough. And we're going to start by steadily demanding that they show us this list and how they procure this list, and who did they interview to get this list that they're talking about. And we want to see some of these people, and not just people that are hooded, shown in northern Nigeria, that they are. We want to see parameters, we want to see database, we want to see what's going on. We have the right. This is our right as citizens to demand. And I want other journalists that work with us to also demand for these rights. It's very important that we ask for this. If you don't ask for this, then these politicians will just keep enriching themselves for nothing. If the money is actually going to poor Nigerians, then we're okay with it. But we want to make sure that if they're going to poor Nigerians, they're actually going to poor Nigerians, and we want to know who decides who is a poor Nigerian. And we want to make sure that that decision is equitable and it's accurate. So now, a lot of people go around talking about how everybody should just relax, the federal government is doing their best. Well, it's a constitutional democracy. If you keep quiet, then you're just an enabler. You're enabling the looters, and this cannot just continue. The last time they said they gave 2.6 million people, 2.5 million people, we haven't even verified everything yet, and now they're talking about giving another 1 million people. Who are these people? That's the question we keep asking. So now, let's talk about Lagos State. It's been crazy over there. A lot of people, the hoodlums took to the streets in Agege, they took to the streets in Lekki Peninsula, different areas, and people are just frustrated. You're telling people to stay at home, which is a good thing, so you can help curb the effects of this virus. I understand that, especially the science of epidemiology. From my own background, I'm a biomedical researcher, so I try my best to explain to the people the importance of social distancing and other measures put in place to help slow down the spread of this disease. I try to explain that to a lot of people. Yes, it's fine and good. They understand it. They appreciate it. But now the problem is, in a country like Nigeria, you're telling people to stay at home, and there's no food, there's no money. In Nigeria, there's a big disparity between the rich and the poor. The middle class is almost non-existent. It's either you're very rich or you're super poor. That's how Nigeria is set up. And it's so annoying, especially when you see these people, the decision makers seem to be at the top. And the people they're making the decisions for and the people they're supposedly representing are at the bottom. And they're not even seeing the real things that those people are seeing. They're not taking their interest to heart. And you begin to wonder, who are these representatives and how are we actually choosing these representatives? And that's why when this whole pandemic is done and over, we need our people to really rise up and really take charge of their future. And the best way to do that is to elect credible people that will have their interests at heart. If you have a representative that's at the National Assembly and they're not asking questions, they're not asking, oh, you're from the Southeast, and then you're sitting there watching them talk about distributing palliatives to millions and millions of households, and you've not verified any of your constituents that's received any of those palliatives. Shame on you. You don't deserve to be in the National Assembly. Your job is to find out who is getting this money, and you also have to find out how did they get this list. And you have to let them know that you have a lot of poor people in your villages. You can't just go to Abuja and collect all that money, and then you come back and you go over there, you're doing nothing. You collect that money, you sit down, and you watch your fellow senators from other zones get all the money to their constituencies, and then you just sit quiet because you're getting paid. That's wrong. Shame on you. If you're collecting all that money, you're not doing anything for the people, you're damn wrong, and you should think about resigning. When this whole COVID thing is over, we're coming after you, all of you. Now, let's talk about the donations that people are giving to the people, supposedly to the people, that's not reaching the people. You hear about millions and millions and dollars and naira that's being given to people. It's not getting anywhere. My foundations, We4We Foundation and Vala Madi Foundation, we're out there every day helping the average person in the streets. We have a database that we use, by the way. I believe, and I think it's probably the most complete database. We have 27 local governments in Imo State, and we have a database of the poor, the real poor people. And then we collected our database not through politicians and not through politics. We went to the real people. That's live, grassroots. So we don't believe in, because what's happening right now in Imo State, you go to a leader, supposed leader, a community leader. Now, this community leaders, a lot of them have affiliations with political parties. So you ask them, give me a list of the people that are really struggling. You know what they do? They actually bring a list of their party loyalists, their supporters. Yes, some of them might be poor, but a lot of the names on there were well-to-do party members. So each community leader tends to put people from his own political leaning. And that's very, very wrong. So I'm calling on all of them. If you need an accurate list, get at us. We have the best list compiled for the real struggling families and people in the Southeast and in Nigeria. Our foundation has it. A lot of other foundations come to us, and then we show them who is really struggling, and they've been making donations that way. So if you really, really are concerned, get at us and we'll do something about it with you. Because a lot of these donations don't get to the real people. A lot of these donations are going into the pockets of these politicians. A lot of these donations are going into the pockets of rogue leaders in some rogue communities. And it's very, very appalling. It's annoying. All these millions and millions you hear about, go to the actual streets. Nobody's getting anything. And it's beyond crazy. And I'm telling everybody now, if something is not done right now, the way things are moving, trust me, we're losing it. And then it's going to be crazy, crazy, crazy. A lot of people are going to just go. The way the government is losing grip of what's happening. If you're in the diaspora, please do your best. Send some money to your families back home directly. Help them. Don't wait on the government. The government is doing their best supposedly, but the people executing the orders on the ground are not fair. They've not been very equitable. So please do your best. Reach out to whoever you can. Your best bet is to go through most non-governmental agencies, foundations. They have people on the ground that can help do better. So please, our people, do your best for your people. Check up on them, people. They won't know. And then once again, it's Frakas Mo'Fire, and it's been another episode of Our Survival, Our Rights. We'll catch you on the next episode. It's going to be a more interactive session, so we can take your calls, and you can send us emails, and we answer your questions while on air. Mo'Fire, fuka.
Vow Media Pinnacle Entertainment. Mo'Fire, fuka. Media Pinnacle Entertainment. Mo'Fire. Fuka.
Billy me Obim na tomuto Billy Obim na tomuto Billy Ifunanya maka Billy no bimo ije love atobwe